Hi, this is Asa, and welcome to my audio experience.
Let's kick it off on the phones. Carla. Let's go to Carla. Hi, Carla.
Got a problem with my fingernails. They're all starting to split from the top all the way down to the cuticle, or breaking off, and it all started all of a sudden.
Carla, on the nails, if they're starting to split or any kind of brittleness to the nails, a lot of time you got to think iron, and you have to think about minerals. So a lot of the minerals, any of them, and it could be something as simple as calcium, magnesium, boron, any of those, but mainly the minerals are what you have to look at. Now, iron can be a little bit of a tough one, because if you check the blood levels of iron, iron can be fine. You can have plenty of iron in the blood, but you may not have enough of the absorption into the cells, into the tissues. And that's where it becomes a little bit of a challenge. So ferritin is a great marker. It's a great read on a blood test to see how well your body's utilizing the iron into the blood and how it's pulling itself in and, of course, utilizing in the tissues. That's a great tool to be able to use along the way for that. 888-283-7272. Give us a call or go to the website. Heart attack in middle age may be a little bit tougher on women. They say that women that survive a heart attack before age 55 tend to face more complications than men do. So women have a little tougher time supporting and handling that than guys do. So, again, women are far more likely than men to deal with diabetes. They're also a little bit more likely to deal with depression as well. So they're saying, obviously, that if you're a female, just be cautious, because if you do get in the situation or your body gets stressed enough to where you have a heart attack, the body has a harder time recovering. Men tend to recover from a heart attack and bounce back a little bit easier than women do. It tends to linger a little bit more in some of the side effects, fatigue and whatnot, that's post-heart attack, can really, really do a number on females. So, again, just a little bit of difference of what's there, but women tend to struggle a little bit more in this area. And this was done, a study was done at the University of California, Los Angeles. 888-283-7272. Lines are open. Give me a call or go to the website. Let's go to the phones. Talk with Don. Hi, Don.
24 years old. I've had a bad back in high school, and I was just wondering if there's anything I could do naturally to reduce the pain and inflammation. And the pain in my back goes down my legs and sometimes up into my neck.
Really, Don, one of the issues there that you want to look at, and making sure that you stay on top of it with, I would get a good chiropractic physician. And you can do an osteopathic physician, a DO, because they can work on the side of medicine that does manipulation with the spine and that sort of thing, depending on if they're still trained in it. A lot of them kind of abandon that and get into their specialties. But you may find a good family doc that's a DO that can handle a lot of that can be quite helpful. But that's the first and foremost thing you want to look at, because, again, non-surgical is what you want. I mean, no one wants to go in and deal with surgery at any level. So looking at that on a regular basis, having them evaluate it, check it out, have multiple testing done. They could check and see if it's even a situation where you would need it or would not. And that's, of course, the route you want to go, if you can, is the better way to go. That's for sure. And there's all kinds of decompression therapy. There's a lot of different therapies that chiropractic physicians can use, all kinds of techniques to get the body back. I could tell you so many stories of people that had just debilitating back pain that saw chiropractic care and literally turned around. No surgery, doing well, thriving, great mobility. So it's just about making sure that you explore all avenues. It's more than just for that type situation. It's more than just anti-inflammatories and pain relievers. You've really got to get to the root cause of why the body's doing that, why the spine is become the way it is, and what needs to be done to correct it.
Go with Mike. Hi, Mike. Welcome to the show, my friend. How can I help?
Hey, Doc, I appreciate you taking my call.
Sure,
I've got a question about depression and hormone replacement.
Okay, talk to me.
Well, I'm a 48-year-old who's generally been in very good health. and probably about a little over a year ago started having more concentration difficulties and irritability. I kind of suspected a little bit in the past, some depression symptoms. Doctor put me on Lexapro, and it worked for a lot of that. My ability to concentrate and my irritability went away, but also, I was getting more and more fatigued, and prior to even the medication, so I think I'm still obviously missing something, and one of my friends had similar symptoms and has suggested having testosterone levels checked, and I was curious what your opinion was on that.
Absolutely. First thing I was going to say to you, and I was going to ask you if you'd had it done. So you haven't had that checked yet, right? Yeah, definitely have that checked. When you have a lot of symptoms, such as a fatigue, and is your sex drive low?
Yes.
Yeah, so there's just not much desire for it. A lot of times, guys, when they hit about 40, there's a slow decline of testosterone, and guys go through what's called andropause, very similar to menopause. So before you go to bed at night, now this is something that with Lexapro, you're still taking Lexapro, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so with Lexapro, you got to be careful with taking 5-HTP because it can interact in certain ways. So I would talk to your doctor about that, and maybe back down on the Lexapro a little bit, with his recommendation or her recommendation, and then, look at taking about 50 milligrams of 5-HTP before you go to bed at night. That will begin to naturally raise your serotonin levels and increase your omega-3 fatty acids.
All right, 888-283-7272. Give us a call. Or go to the website. What are you struggling with? We want to help you go to the next level, and our lifestyle providers will do that. You just go, of course, to the website. You can find our lifestyle providers' information there. We've got Tina in Mississippi and wants to know, she's recently been struggling with hormones, and I've got hot flashes and mood swings. What do you suggest that I do? Well, again, you can just throw it to the change, right? Menopause and premenopause. You can just chalk it up as that. Or I like to really go and dig in a little bit deeper. So go to your primary care physician, get some blood testing done. They may even do saliva testing to check out some of the labs. Pharmacists really like to have that done. It just offsets some of the ways that they can compound if they need to. But getting that checked out is going to be a key. I would start there and then kind of build. So because the key is, it's not so much just, it's just your hormones. It could be the food you're eating that could be throwing it off. Estrogen levels, progesterone levels could be kind of out of whack by not eating the right kind of foods. I mean, there's a host of reasons why your body's doing what it's doing, but you have to jump in and build a good solid game plan around it and know and be strategic. And there's all kinds of ways, like hot flashes, black and blue cohosh can help, omega-3 fatty acids. Are you getting enough fat? Or are you eating too much fat? I mean, there's a lot of variables. Blood testing can help, but getting your hormones checked and then nutritional deficiencies together can make the difference.
Want to turn back the clock 15 years and have more energy? This is Dr. Asa telling you to just breathe. With LiveO2. LiveO2 delivers the right amount of oxygen we need for optimal health. Go to liveO2.com. That's liveO2.com.
To find out more, connect with On Call Radio online at InShapeNetwork.com.
Go to the phones and talk with Tim. Hi, Tim.
Problem that I heard about hypothyroidism, I believe that's the word for hypothyroidism, there it is. And I sing opera, and I hear that it has effects on the voice, but also on like your fatigue and the ability to withstand certain degrees of temperature in the cold. And I feel like I have all these symptoms, and it's really scares me because, I just want to know if it might affect my singing later down the road. And so I was just wondering any kind of treatments for it or things that don't require the doctor?
Well, I think pretty much for the most part, you're always going to want to include your doctor at some level, because with the thyroid, you've got to look at blood tests. You want to know what the numbers are. And then if you need medication, that's a possibility. But if not, then there are a lot of things naturally you can do, but you want to have someone that really knows and understands the physiology more than Dr. Google and your local health food store guy or gal. I mean, not that they don't know anything. I mean, Google has everything on there, but you don't want to be the one to make those kind of decisions when you're dealing with the thyroid gland. The thyroid's kind of an important piece of the equation for our metabolism, so you don't want to be messing around with that. So it's always good to get that professional opinion and know what the parameters are, and then you can kind of get your own information and build a good solid game plan from there. That's just my 2 cents on it. So the thyroid, again, get some blood test numbers. They can check T3, T4, TSH. Make sure they check the pituitary gland. It's the primary driver. Always want to have that checked. And they can do a basic blood test. Of course, human growth hormone, they can check and see what those levels are, and then build a solid game plan. But that's first and foremost what you want to look at. There are natural ways, but you don't want to abandon anything on the traditional side either, because you have to make sure the body's getting everything that it needs. And with the thyroid, when you got iodine, which is a trace mineral, you got to make sure the body's getting enough. And if we don't get in our food supply, if you're low in iodine, it's going to cause the thyroid not to work as well. Very common, happens all the time, and I would have that checked out on a regular basis, that's for sure. 888-283-7272, that's 888-283-7272. Give us a call or go to the web. Now, saying a breath test may spot lung cancer. This is really, really cool information. So people may soon be able to learn whether or not they have lung cancer and how bad and what level and stage the cancer may be by breathing into a tube. Researchers have developed a breathalyzer that can detect lung cancer to assess whether it's early or advanced, according to new findings. This was at the Clinical or Society of Oncology in Chicago. The device accurately detected lung cancer in 4 out of 5 cases, and they said the cancer cells not only have a unique smell or signature, you can even discriminate between subtypes and determine the overall disease burden. A new smaller version of the device has since been developed, and you can plug into a computer's USB port. Pretty cool. So this could totally revolutionize lung cancer screening and diagnosis. I agree. This would be unbelievable. If this ends up coming out, that would be strong. University of Colorado Cancer Center and professor at the University of Colorado School of Medicine, Dr. Fred Hirsch, he said that lung cancer is the United States' top cancer killer, in large part because symptoms don't appear until the disease has advanced to the point where it's incurable. So in 2010, 150,000 people in the U.S. died from lung cancer, and including about 87,000 men and 70,000 women, according to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. The potential breath test for lung cancer is certainly exciting, they said. They said, we know that screening people for lung cancer can substantially impact survival, but if we do it cheaply, this would be a go-to test. Lung cancer tumors produce chemicals called volatile organic compounds, which easily evaporate into the air and produce discernible scent profiles. Researchers, for example, have been investigating ways to detect lung cancer from a person's breath. For example, recently a study reported that dogs have been trained to reliably sniff out lung cancer on human breath. So they know it's been there, but the technology hasn't been there. So, of course, now they've developed this technology that literally can take the components out of our breath and break that down and determine exactly what's going on. So the estimated cost for Medicare to CT lung cancer screening and subsequent treatments about $9.3 billion. It's industry. So with 100 million smokers still in the United States, if we can do a one-off screening for lung cancer, it would be incredibly impactful. So if you have lung cancer patients with a median survival rate, typically they're given about 1 year. If you wait 2 or 3 months to see what the response to therapy is, you're losing a lot of time. So they said that this new tube that they're using could cut that down. Also, the screening time and the screening cost can be cut down quite a bit. It's interesting how that works. Powerful new information. Love research. Research is Everybody thinks they're spending a bunch of money on nothing. But so many advances have come through research and through the funding of the different organizations that it's pretty mind-boggling, because so many people have been benefited by the treatments and the therapies that have come down the pipe. 888-283-7272. Give us a call or go to the website. You can always check us out there. Of course, don't forget our lifestyle providers or healthcare providers in your area that believe the same way we do. All this nutrition and lifestyle-based care that we talk about, well, we've got coaches and professionals that can help you go to the next level with your health and with your life. Don't forget the new app is out. Check out the iTunes store, and you can listen to the radio show. Just look for On Call Radio. You can look for it and, of course, listen to the show 24/7. That way it's on your terms and on your time, which is what it's all about. Now, coming up, more information to empower your health, and I've got some more calls. I see you all waiting there. Also got our food of the day we're going to jump in and talk about here shortly. Don't want to miss that. Of course, food either brings health to the body or takes health out of the body. A choice is up to us, no one else. And if you make the right kind of choices, guess what? You get the right kind of cells. The body doesn't know the difference, but we do. So we have to learn how to make the right kind of choices. Also, more fitness tips and ways to drop the weight. You want to do that in a natural way. You don't want to miss what's coming up.
Hi, it's Asa. I'm giving you a copy of my best-selling book for free to help you in your health journey today. I'll pay for the book. All you do is just cover the small shipping and handling costs. Go to asarx.com and get your free book today.
To find out more, visit the show online, InShapeNetwork.com.
Lines are open, 888-283-7272. Welcome back to the show. Check us out on the web. Whatever you're struggling with, realize that the body can get sick. It can also get well. It's all about lifestyle. It's about the choices that we make every single day and how it can determine and affect our health tomorrow. So our choices matter. Everything we do matters. And you want to begin to thrive. You want to begin to make it. You want to begin to literally go to that next level and that next place. Because no one can do this for you. Only you can take responsibility for your health and for your life. All right, let's go to the phones and talk with Ann. Hello, Ann.
I had my gallbladder taken out, and it seems like ever since then, I've had digestive system problems and that. What should I do?
That's the challenge. You know, people say, well, you get the gallbladder taken out. Oh, go ahead and take it out. You don't need it anyway. But we do need it. I mean, that's why God gave it to us. He put it in our bodies. So we do need it. And the challenge is, of course, we want to be able to break down fats in your proteins, and that's what mostly fats the gallbladder help to do, is store the bile and all that kind of jazz. Now, your body still produces the bile and can break it down, but it's about coming up with a good way to do that. And you've got to be cautious, too, because eating too much fat can cause it to get kind of bogged down. You won't digest it properly. So, of course, I'm a big fan of fat, eating enough of it, having at least 30% of your diet, but it's got to be the good healthy fats, your almonds, walnuts, your cashews, your avocados. Bromelain and hydrochloric acid, HCl, can be very helpful, and you can get this as a supplement form. And also, there's different types of nettle root and Venetian root. There's a lot of different roots that can help. Any of the bitters can help too in breaking down the fats. But I would go easy. I would spread your fat throughout the meals throughout the day instead of just a couple of big servings. Don't do high-fat meals because the body will struggle to break those down. But if you've got the right kind of digestive enzymes and you got good proteolytic enzymes as well, that can help break down your fats. But you're probably, a lot of times, if you're struggling like that, it's painful, you get bloated and all that kind of thing, you want to make sure you get the right kind of digestive aids to help you with that. but also make sure you got plenty of fruits and vegetables. The fiber helps tremendously. So if you're doing, say, higher fat foods, but you're doing a lot of processed foods with it, the digestive tract's not really going to like you very much. Really, just to be honest, it's going to get bloaty. It's going to be kind of a mess. So fruits and vegetables are much better because they've got the high fiber content, and they can handle the breakdown much easier. And that would be a good place to focus, or a great way to focus anyway, along with that. But yeah, having the gallbladder out can result in some challenges. But don't forget, you've also got to raise acetylcholine levels in the brain. So we just think digestion. But what about the brain chemistry? And it's about putting the right kind of foods inside the body so that you can begin to build. And that's the key. So at the end of the day, one thing to focus on for sure is you're getting the right kind of course, digestion game plan put together is to make sure overall that acetylcholine levels are built, and the brain chemistry you can build pretty easily. Actually, egg yolks, lecithin, will build acetylcholine levels in the brain. And the emotional component, too. Don't forget, health has got a strong emotional component. 85% of what we struggle with has a root cause in emotional health. So if the root cause is emotion with that, you got to dig in and figure out what that is. Guilt, blame. There's a lot of different emotions associated with low acetylcholine levels. As a matter of fact, Chinese medicine recognizes it as a big key and one of the main reasons why people struggle with low memory, low acetylcholine. They don't sleep as well. And then, of course, there's a lot of negative emotions associated with that. That can cause the gallbladder not to function right. So, I mean, as crazy as that sounds, everything is interconnected in the body in a great way. So I would look into those areas and then build a good game plan around that. 888-283-7272 lines are open. Questions about your health, give us a call. You can go to the website. Now, our food of the hour, I like to talk about, of course, because food either brings health to the body or it takes health out of the body. And, you know, the body doesn't know the difference because it's going to do what you do. So, meaning if you put fried chicken in, guess what? You're going to get fried chicken cells. Not really, but it's kind of like that. You put baked chicken in, you're going to get baked chicken cells. Broccoli versus French fries. I mean, you make the choice. The body can only make what you give it. I mean, if you give it the raw materials, that's all it can use to make the right kind of cells. So we're going to make good cells or bad cells. Junk food, or junk cells. Again, it's up to you what's going to happen. So I would just focus on making sure you get the right kind of nutrition in the right way. That can help tremendously. We're going to talk about our food of the hour here in just a minute. We're going to talk about tomatoes, but first I want to go to the phones, and I want to talk with John. Hi, John.
Recently diagnosed with prostate cancer, PSA about 15, scheduled next week for an initial appointment at a proton treatment therapy center. Just wanted to see if familiar with the proton treatments and kind of get opinion.
Proton treatments, they've actually been out for a little while, but they've had great results. I have several colleagues that do it, but also several friends that have gone through the treatments themselves and have come through very, very well. So it's a treatment protocol and a treatment condition that can, or a situation that can help. Of course, the physicians that do it are well trained. And it's just one of those great procedures that are out now that can help tremendously. So I would look into it and consider that as a strong option if you have to go down that route, for sure. Because, again, but just make sure no matter what with prostate that you're doing everything you can to build a good, solid foundation for the prostate health overall. One of the first things you got to focus on. 888-283-7272. Give us a call. Now, our food of the day, tomatoes. And the benefits of tomatoes are pretty amazing. It's considered a vegetable, but of course it's actually a fruit. We've probably all known that. It's perfect for canning. Really, really good. A medium whole tomato contains around 22 calories, about 5 grams of carbs, and 1 gram of fiber. But it's loaded with vitamin C. Number one of the big keys that I like about it, of course, it's great at warding off cancer. certain cancers like lung, stomach, and prostate cancers. Lycopene, which is in the tomato itself responsible for the red color, is thought to be the main reason for that. And you can always add in a little bit of olive oil with this, and it will help out in a great way to increase the lycopene absorption. Now, the other is it can prevent DNA damage. So tomatoes are high in important antioxidants such as vitamin C and vitamin A, and they work off to defend the DNA damage of the free radicals. Consequently, tomatoes may help ward off age-related disease such as atherosclerosis and diabetes. Now, also can help reduce the risk of heart disease. So, of course, the niacin or folate and vitamin B6, which are loaded in the tomatoes themselves, can reduce the risk of heart disease. One study found that women who ate about 7 to 10 servings of tomato products per week had about 29% lower risk of cardiovascular disease. That is impressive. Than women who did not. And also it can protect against the thrombosis. So drinking 8 ounces of tomato juice daily reduced the platelet aggregation. So a lot of the clotting, it reduced that in a great way. So again, it's got benefits to it that they're extremely beneficial. And warding off inflammation is another big one too. So the TNF-alpha, which is a big component for inflammation, high levels of that have been found in individuals with chronic degenerative disease like heart disease, cancer, osteoporosis, and Alzheimer's. And they did a double-blind study, and they found that drinking or eating tomatoes or drinking tomato juice can help lower those levels. So again, a lot of great benefits. Just figuring out exactly what you need to do and what kind of foods and such need to be used. Because, again, tomatoes, cutting down inflammation, supporting prostate health, helping with cardiovascular function, strong anti-cancer, can't go wrong. It's powerful. 888-283-7272. Lines are open with questions about your health. Give us a call or go to the website. Don't forget to sign up for our newsletter. It goes out each week, and our app is out. Check it out. Go to the store and get our app. There you can find it. And, of course, you can listen to the show anytime, wherever you are, right from your tablet or your smartphone. Pretty cool. Does your workout hurt your wrist? Mine have from time to time, so give your wrist a rest. More like a push-up. They call it a burpee and a bench press. Stress your scapula ligaments, and those lunate ligaments can be challenging. They can be very painful, too. Bill Hartman, he's a physical therapist, also a strength coach. He's the co-owner of Indianapolis Fitness and Sports Training. He said use some different exercises. Use kettlebells and the hexagon dumbbells. Keep your wrist in safer positions. For bench press, use dumbbells in a certain technique where they're not turned in the normal position, but turn it where it's actually perpendicular to the body. It's a lot easier on the wrists themselves because you got to give everything a break. Everything needs a break in the body. You can't just push and push and push all the time. And the wrists take a lot of abuse if you're really into physical training and work. You know, if you work in the computer all the time, can develop carpal tunnel, right? So you've got to give the wrist a break. You got to give the body a break in all kinds of areas so that it can recover and that your body can go to that next level of where it needs to go. Coming up, we're going to jump in. I see some more of your calls. We're going to grab those, and we're going to get into some of our social media. So you don't want to miss that. Also, check out the web during the break.
Want to turn back the clock 15 years and have more energy? This is Dr. Asa telling you to just breathe with LiveO2. LiveO2 delivers the right amount of oxygen we need for optimal health. Go to liveO2.com. That's liveO2.com.
Connect with On Call Radio and watch On Call TV at InShapeNetwork.com.
Triple 828-37272. That's 888-283-7272. Welcome back to the show. So every face tells a story. When you had a little sleep, and the world sees it in Technicolor, really. So what does that mean? Well, your sleep patterns make a big difference. Adrenal glands are the body's stress glands. And what happens, there's a lot of different variables and reasons that we don't sleep, or that we look tired, or that we don't feel rested. And the adrenals make a big difference. So they're the little glands that sit on top of the kidneys, about the size of a walnut, but they control so much of the body. Matter of fact, they produce a hormone called cortisol, and it's one of the hormones they produce. And cortisol, of course, is a stress hormone. And the more cortisol is up, the more your skin's going to look aged, the more you're going to look tired. The more cortisol is down, it can do the opposite. It can decrease. It won't advance wrinkles. It won't age our face and skin as much as it normally would. So, again, making sure your body gets everything that it needs in a nutritional aspect is important, but making sure the adrenals are healthy is going to make a big difference in the way you look. So the only way to improve the look of fatigue is to sleep more. And so a recent report that was in the Institute or issue of Sleep is that sleep deprivation is linked to looking significantly more fatigued. And according to researchers, reading facial cues is highly developed skill that's natural with all of us. It's based on the skill. People make judgments whether someone can be trusted or is aggressive or competent simply by the way that they look. So the visual cues to fatigue in the study identifies that may have implications of certain type issues. So looking sleep deprived may actually be the sign of a more serious medical condition like chronic illness or depression, but a lot of times it's adrenal fatigue as well to look at. So nearly 1/3 of Americans get insufficient sleep, according to a new study by the American Academy of Sleep Medicine. It's pretty interesting if you look at that. And that's true, though. And the more stressed out people get, the more that's going to be the case. We have to do everything we can to get sleep. And I always tell people just to make it a normal part of your routine. I mean, make sleep as important as eating breakfast or as your exercise routine for the day. Schedule it. Make sure you don't miss. Make sure that you get into a routine that you can manage and keep, because you don't want to lose sleep. You don't want to get into a position where your body's not thriving anymore. You don't want to get into a position where you're less than productive and you're not getting everything accomplished that you need to accomplish. It's vital to be able to really, really begin to focus and get everything done. And sleep matters. It does. It makes a huge difference in our overall health in the grand scheme of things as well. And there's a lot of great tools you can use to get yourself sleeping in the right manner, but it's about the consistency more than anything. 888-283-7272. Lines are open. Questions about your health. Let's go to the phones and talk with Ellen. Hi, Ellen.
Recently, I had to go to the emergency room because I had some severe pain, and I was diagnosed with acute pancreatitis and was told to go on a certain liquid type fast for a few days to bring the inflammation down. And I've been following that diet. However, I have slipped up in the fact that I've been eating boiled eggs to bring my protein level up because I have hypoglycemia and I get really, really tired. And I don't know what I can do to keep my energy level up without the protein. The drinks like Gatorade and stuff, they can irritate my system and also give me migraines.
I think overall, one thing you've got to look at, Ellen, and especially in dealing with the pancreas and dealing with any of these kind of situations, is first you got to lower the inflammation in the body. You got to step back and say, okay, what nutritional deficiencies do you have, and what kind of game plan needs to be followed really to help that? Because inflammation it starts itself always in the digestive tract. That's where it begins. And with inflammation, of course, you want to do everything you can, provided your doctor's got you on a good, just kind of giving you free will just to, work on your nutritional plan, your lifestyle plan. They've got the medical side covered, which is great. But what do you do at that point? So you got to think, okay, what are my blood values? Where did my doctor say the weak spots are? Where are the strong spots? And then how can I build a good, solid game plan from there? Because you don't want to wing it. You don't want to just take certain supplements and do certain or follow certain guidelines that are not in line with what your body actually needs. I mean, fish oil in your situation known to be very, very helpful. And krill oil, salmon oil, cod liver oil, all of those are fantastic. Getting your vitamin D levels looked at is going to be another great tool in the toolbox for you. The other key, too, is to look at different supportive components to the pancreas. So cinnamon is a spice and been known always to be very supportive and helpful. Alpha lipoic acid can be helpful as well. Now, again, you want to make sure everything's cleared, but these are pretty standard, and you can get this checked out at your local health food store. You can find good brands and all that kind of jazz. But N-acetylcysteine and alpha lipoic acid, all these are very beneficial. So you can get that looked at as well. The pancreas you don't want to play around with. Nothing to do with any of that area. The digestive tract as well, taking good care of that and making sure that you have everything you need from an overall macronutrient standpoint plays a big role. So focus on that. Get your labs done. Find out what the deficiencies are and build a plan from there. Puts another hour in the charts. I want to thank our producer, Jay Patrick, engineer John Garrison, and the rest of the team. Go tell one person something you learned on this show, and together we can transform the health of our friends, our families, and our communities.
Did you know you could listen to the ASA RX audio experience on Spotify and Pandora? For all the ways to watch and listen, check out our show page at asarx.com/experience.
Hi, it's Asa. I'm giving you a copy of my best-selling book for free to help you in your health journey today. I'll pay for the book. All you do is just cover the small shipping and handling costs. Go to asarx.com and get your free book today.
This episode is over, but check episode notes for links to products and services you've heard about on this episode. Thanks for listening and subscribing. Please share the ASA RX audio experience with others and stay in touch by giving us your comment or review.